the most powerful man on earth, kept a journal. He commanded 1 million soldiers. He ruled over 70 million people across 3 continents. He could have had anything: palaces, pleasures, absolute power without consequence. And in his journal, at night, alone, he wrote to remind himself that he was nobody, that everything he had would vanish, that the only thing worth having was a quiet mind. His name was Marcus Aurelius. He was Emperor of Rome, and the journal he kept, the one he never intended anyone to read, is considered one of the most important works of philosophy ever written. The monk has been reading it for a long time, and in this video, he wants to share 3 of its lesser-known teachings, not the famous ones, the ones that actually change how you live. The 3rd teaching is the one the monk returns to most often. It is the one that has the most power to change how you experience an ordinary Tuesday morning. Stay until the end. But first, the teaching that sounds like the simplest advice in the world and is somehow the hardest to follow. Teaching 1: do less. The monk knows this sounds obvious. It is not, because Marcus Aurelius was not writing about productivity hacks or morning routines. He was writing about something more fundamental: the relationship between what you do with your hours and what you feel in your chest at the end of a day. Marcus Aurelius observed that most people fill their days with things that are not necessary. Not because they are lazy, the opposite actually, because they are afraid. Afraid that if they stop, if they do less, the world will move past them. So they stay busy, constantly, performatively busy, and they mistake movement for progress. He wrote, "If you can eliminate it, you'll have more time and more tranquility. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" The monk finds this question almost dangerous in its simplicity, because when you honestly apply it to your calendar, your conversations, your screen time, the answer surprisingly often is no. But the teaching goes deeper than cutting tasks. Marcus Aurelius also meant talk less. He was specifically critical of unnecessary conversation, not connection. That is sacred. But the gossip, the performance, the words spoken to fill silence rather than to say something real, the energy wasted on conversations that lead nowhere is, he believed, a form of self-harm. One practical tool Marcus Aurelius used, and the monk has adopted, is designing the next day the evening before. Not obsessively, just a list of what is essential. What must I do? What would I like to do? What can I release entirely? This act of premeditation does something remarkable to the mind. It gives it permission to rest, because there is one less thing to worry about in the dark. Teaching 2: go within. And the monk needs to be direct about what Marcus Aurelius is saying here, because it is more provocative than it sounds. He is not suggesting meditation as a wellness practice. He is suggesting that the entire project of seeking peace outside yourself is, and he actually used this word, idiotic. He wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful or more free of interruptions than your own soul." He was specifically addressing the people of his time who sought rest by traveling to the mountains or the seaside. He thought this was foolish, and not because nature isn't calming or beautiful, but because whatever is disturbing you is inside you, and it will follow you to every mountain and every beach you ever visit. Have you not found this to be precisely true? You can take the most beautiful holiday and spend days worrying about something you left unresolved. No matter how magnificent the mountain, you just don't see it. When your mind is not present, the escape itself becomes futile. Marcus Aurelius offered 2 anchors for these inner retreats, 2 things to hold in the mind when the world becomes too loud. First, that things have no hold on the soul. They stand outside it. Whatever is disturbing you is not inside you by right. Disturbance comes only from within, from the way you have chosen to perceive what is happening. And second, that everything you see will soon alter and cease to exist. Marcus Aurelius was not trying to depress you with this. He was trying to free you. If everything is temporary, the difficulty, the person who wronged you, the situation you cannot solve, then nothing requires the weight you are placing on it right now. He wrote, "The world is nothing but change. Our life is only perception." The monk's practical suggestion for this teaching is this: once a day, briefly. Not 2 hours of meditation, not a retreat, 2 minutes of genuine withdrawal from the noise. Eyes closed. One question: what is disturbing me right now? And does it have hold of my soul, or have I given it hold? Here is what the monk finds most interesting about this teaching. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. He had access to every palace, every resort, every retreat his civilization could offer. And he said the best place he could go was inside his own mind. What does that tell you about the nature of peace? Leave your answer below. The monk reads them. Teaching 3, and this is the one the monk promised at the beginning, the one that changes an ordinary Tuesday. It is called Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. And before anyone leaves, the monk wants to be very precise about what this means because it is almost never taught correctly. Most people encounter Memento Mori as a morbid reminder, a skull on the desk, a reminder of mortality to appreciate life. That is part of it, but Marcus Aurelius was reaching for something more specific and more useful. He was not asking you to think about death. He was asking you to think about time, about how fast the river moves. He wrote, "How many a Chrysippus, how many a Socrates, how many an Epictetus have time already swallowed up?" These were the greatest minds of his civilization, entirely gone, and he was not writing this to feel despair, he was writing it to feel free. Because if even Socrates has been forgotten by history, what exactly are you ever worrying about? Here is the practical liberation in this teaching. If everything is temporary, if even empires crumble, and even the greatest minds eventually vanish, then the difficult situation you are in right now is also temporary. The relationship problem, the financial pressure, the professional failure, the social embarrassment, temporary, every last one. But here is the part most people miss. The good times are also temporary. And this is not pessimism. This is where the real gift of Memento Mori lives. If you know the good times are temporary, you stop taking them for granted. You start actually tasting the meal instead of planning the next one. You start actually hearing the conversation instead of waiting for your turn to speak. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The infinity of past and future gapes before us, a chasm whose depths we cannot see. So it would take an idiot to feel self-importance or distress." The monk has read these words hundreds of times. They never lose their power, because they are not consolation, they are geometry. The actual size of any problem, measured against the actual size of time. And yet, and this is where stoicism parts company with nihilism, the smallness of our problems in the face of infinity does not make us meaningless, it makes us free. Free from the tyranny of the outcome. Free from the need for everything to go perfectly. Free to show up fully for this moment, this day, this conversation, without the burden of needing it to last forever. 3 teachings from Marcus Aurelius. Do less and ask yourself at every moment whether what you are doing is necessary. Go within, because nowhere you can travel will be more peaceful than a mind that has learned to be still. And remember that all shall pass, which means the difficult things will not last. The beautiful things deserve your full attention, and the worry consuming you right now will be forgotten long before you are. If the teachings of Marcus Aurelius have been useful, the monk has left a free reflection guide in the description. The 3 teachings with a practice for each one and space to write. And if the temple has served you today, the bell is in the corner and the monk will find you next week. Welcome to the temple.